And so pull out. If you have a big dream, pull out and don't have kids.
I'm Ed Choi. I'm a content creator, and I'm a second-gen Korean American.
My name is Paul Kim. Everyone calls me PK. I'm an event director at a hotel casino. My dream is to do stand-up comedy full-time. I run a wedding MC DJ company. I'm a second-gen Korean American.
My name is Dave Young Kim. I'm second-generation Korean American, and I'm a artist, a painter, muralist, museum exhibit designer.
Hi, I'm Nathan Ramos Park. I'm a TV film writer. I'm half Filipino and half Korean. I don't know what gen I am because my dad was born here, but my mom was not. So I'm like 2.5 gen. Yeah, I'm a Jennifer.
So I make content, highlighting like Asian American or Asian stuff in general. The reason I started doing it was after the Atlanta spa shootings. It just kind of was like, hey, no one's telling our stories because they were like talking about the shooter's pastor like on day 2, and we didn't know any of the people's names. So I was like, if no one cares about our community, I was like, then I guess we should care about our community to do it. So I just kind of fell into it.
I respect you so much for what you do, man, especially the one where it was that you felt like you were in danger, like they were outside your house.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, are you all right, dude? Like,
yeah, I was reporting on a missing girl.
Yeah,
and
that story was crazy. Like,
the story got really crazy.
Developing
and then
every
next
day.
thing I know, someone was outside my house and like wouldn't leave for like 12 hours. So.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like supposed to go to an event that night, and I had a text be like, I was like, I know this sounds like bullshit, but I was like, I can't leave my house. Someone's outside.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So.
You can call like backup. You can call like PK.
Well, I
here,
did. People
you
started to
got me.
DM me. They're like, if they're still there, I'm gonna come over, roll up
Yeah.
with like 10 people, and I was like, I don't know if I want that either.
Yeah.
I was like,
Okay,
but
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
that's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
I do stand-up comedy. I've loved stand-up comedy my whole life. I've tried improv and all this stuff, but like that's like my goal, and I really hope before I die I can just make a living off of it. And I just love the art of stand-up comedy. For me, it's the most raw, vulnerable art. If you sing and mess up, it's okay, but if you tell a joke and bombs, like
It's personal.
it's painful.
Yeah.
And I've felt that many times. You're an amazing artist, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen your, yeah.
I'll share a story as well because it'll transition into
Oh, no,
why I
crazier
do
than
what I do.
that?
No, it's not a crazy story. It's not a crazy story at all. It's not a crazy story at all. It's actually, I want to make a short film about it, but it's basically my grandfather had like a small motel in a place called Lake Elsinore. If you're from LA, you know it's like about 2 hours away in the desert, right? So that was like our family gathering place. So as kids, we would, load up in the car. For me, it was like paper and pencil, get ready to like draw for 40 hours because it's, for me, like 2 hours is like, like hours, right? I have no sense of time, but it's anticipation, So we get there, it's the desert, it's hot. You open the door, a blast of like a furnace blasts into the car. I'm already in my swim shorts and jump out into the pool. All my cousins and all my aunts and uncles are there. And then I could get sodas and stuff. It's like, it's just real fun for a kid. And then you go inside and you have these feasts with all your family and Korean food and Korean art and laughter and nourishment. And like, it's like a warm blanket. And it's very Korean in the language and the smells and the sounds. That to me is utopia. So my work is essentially about going back to that place. But, time passes, like divorces happen. All my grandparents passed away, like cousins moved away. So you can't travel back in time, but I can make work about it. I can essentially try to go back to that place. So I think that's the best way to explain why I do what I do. I think the other part is I run a artist collective, the Korean American Artist Collective, and I think that's about just the trials and tribulations, how difficult it is, the artist path essentially. So especially as a Korean American, so that's about kind of undoing that or providing resources or opportunities or ways to, make it easier for those kind of coming behind me essentially. So yeah, that's what I do.
Damn, I definitely feel that with your work though. Now I'm like, okay, now I feel informed and I'm like, okay, I see that when I feel that when I see your work. Yeah, for sure. I'm a TV film writer. I know that I've worked mostly in like a lot of corporate spaces like Netflix and Sony and Amazon and Disney for 5 years, but my intent, I feel, is like when you read my work, you should feel like there's a gun in your mouth, but I'm jerking you off and telling you a joke, and we're on Molly, like, and like, and like,
What does that feel like? I've never done Molly.
You can't laugh, or else I'm gonna pull the fucking trigger. You know? So it's like you feel euphoric and like the threat of violence, but like you're in safe arms and you're also like having a good time.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like
An amazing picture right there.
So like I don't know, like sexy, funny. Because I think like a lot of my work, I try to kind of decolonize, like and like move away from white adjacency, and I really try and like kind of. You know, like the Philippines was like so queer before Spanish colonization. Like everyone was gay, everyone was poly, everyone was open, you know, kind of thing. Half the gods in the pantheon in the Philippines, like the god of harvest is lesbian, the god of death is gay, the moon is a gay man. You know, like so every time you look at the moon, that's faggotry. You can't you can't say that. No, I'm just kidding. And so yeah, I try and like write things and say things that kind of are like so much of Asian. I feel like when I moved to the West Coast, I was like, these Asians are so fucking soft. Like you don't know what it's like for someone to like try and kill you. I mean, maybe you guys do, but like I think a lot of Asians that I meet out here, I'm just like, oh, it's just a different thing. Like yesterday, I was talking to a friend who was saying like that kind of existential threat was much more like mental, like Asians kind of like fighting to be the best at something, whereas like growing up in the Midwest, I feel like my dad was always like, wear a weapon, wear shoes you can always run in, and like know where the exit is kind of thing, you know? And so it's very much so like that different, like I come here and it's like, so everything kind of feels easy on the West Coast because I'm just like, okay, like no one's trying to kill you, so like what is your fucking problem? Like, but it is like, it's true. It's like once you're trying to build community and like build, you know, what is our Asian American voice? What is a queer Asian American voice? You know, it's like, I'm like really trying to figure that out and like fully be like, my dream isn't like a house in the suburbs. My dream isn't like kids. And since like being gay and Asian, like a lot of kind of like heteronormative culture kind of rejects me, then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna like fuck 5 rich guys and make them like pay for my life, you know, and then we're gonna just do drugs, you know, like it's like that, and then it's just like I want like all Asian people to get to freely just like fully enjoy and like profit off of our culture and like what is like peak joy for us. Like I think nostalgia is part of that, like nostalgia, like rebellion, you know, truth. It's like all part of that. Like, yeah.
Do you have siblings?
Yeah, older brother and a younger sister.
So I'm sure you guys were tight, right? Or because you had to be.
Well, my parents like kind of pit us against each other when we were younger. Oh. We're really tight now. Like, but yeah, so we're really close now.
Money, for sure. I think. Yeah, that's it, I think. Money, I think my mom has evolved towards happiness because I've pushed the boundary and questioned everything my whole life. So I think she's evolved there, but I still feel like in Asian, Korean society, money is success, right?
Yeah, I think you hit on the dot. Like people will say all these other little things around it, but then if you really go to the core of it, I mean, I grew up in a very strict conservative Korean Christian household, and it was very spiritual, and you know, my parents were legit like good Christians, but our church was just ballers. It looked like an auto show. I mean, like for some reason the elders that had the nicer cars seemed to give more, became like the upper echelon elder. You know, there's all that stuff going. If you really get to the core of everything, yeah, money.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's money as well. I mean, just the way my dad works his ass off, like for no reason at all, just for a pursuit of something. which ends up being money. But I never felt that in my family and in my immediate or extended family. I think part of it is because a lot of us failed, I guess. So maybe it became like not like a factor or like a determination of success.
Can I ask what field your dad was in? Like what industry?
He owns a bunch of property and
Okay.
like runs like apartments and like residential
Oh, so
like
he did
apartments
good.
and stuff. So
He did all right.
He did good. Yeah. My grandfather did the same. But I don't know. It's all mixed in with like coming here, helping other people, like establishing yourself. He gave a lot of it away to like different family members so they could have different businesses. They can settle here in the country. So it's all mixed in with that. And then my parents never had like nice cars or, they live in a good sized house now, but my dad just painted his truck with like house paint. Like that's what my dad, he looks like maybe a homeless guy potentially, right? So I had mixed values. So it's like working your butt off to amass this wealth, which they have, and I definitely benefit off of. But they never like pressured me to be a lawyer or a doctor or anything in this kind of the standard stereotypical way. They didn't necessarily support my art directly, but never kind of put it down as well. So yeah, it's all mixed for me. Yeah, they helped me get through grad school for my MFA. So
Yeah. I think behind money is like the idea, like money is the physical thing, but I think like Asian parents specifically, it's about security. So it's like, are you secure? But money is their only way that they can like understand security in a way kind of thing. Like, not to be like, look at me, but like I had a movie that came out 2 months ago, and it was the #1 movie on Amazon Prime for 4 weeks.
Which one?
It's called Picture This. It's starring Simone Ashley, and it was like a remake of a movie that I had made. But my parents, like when I sent them like, hey, my movie was #1 for 4 weeks, they didn't respond. They just like thumbs up emoji.
Oh my God.
same, yeah. I
Might
feel
as well
that,
not
I feel that.
respond at
Yeah,
all.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I'm like, all right. Yeah.
yeah.
But did they really understand or no?
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, it's like
I mean, the words #1 was in the
Yeah.
sentence.
Yeah.
4 weeks.
Yeah. But it's like I think
But are you stable? Is your life
right. But it's
you
like
know what
I think it's
are
like
you-
I'm not
yeah.
stable. So it's kind of
That's
like
what they're wondering, right?
it's like it doesn't really matter that like you is doing what you love.
Money for then the status.
Right. Like, yeah, are you secure? And like, you're not secure. So like, this is kind of like, like, what are you going to be safe in? Are you going to be secure in the future kind of thing?
Dang, that's brutal. Just
Congrats
the thumbs
on
up. Yeah, congrats.
Yeah.
We're
No,
proud
just
of
a
you,
thumbs up.
Nathan.
Yeah, thumbs up
We're
will
very
do it,
proud of you.
My parents came to one stand-up comedy show.
Yeah.
And my dad passed away right after. Like it was just
wow.
like
That was his
a
last-
medical thing, but
Yeah.
that meant everything to me.
Yeah.
But
Oh my
every
gosh, I'm
comic that
getting chills,
night,
yeah.
because he's a preacher, I was like, dude, let it be clean. Dude, every comic that night, the comic right before me, he was like, you believe in ghosts? Look at my dad. He's like, you know if a ghost is jerking off on you right now? I'm like, dude,
Oh my God.
why today? Like, why tonight? And he's like, this filth. My son is doing this filth. He's like, the dirtiest night when my dad
What did he
came.
say
my
after
God.
that? I'm
Dude, he
curious.
goes, you really want to do this? I go, oh yeah. And then he goes, just don't make fun of me. That's what he said.
Really?
Yeah, he goes,
God.
he was trying to be funny, you know?
Yeah,
Because I have a
yeah,
joke,
yeah,
I
yeah,
made
yeah.
fun of him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then like months later, he passed away. So when the next time I went to that comic, I'm not gonna lie, I was all fighting too. I was all,
Yeah.
he came.
You're like,
He didn't come to anything. He didn't come to my high school graduation. He didn't come to anything.
That's
He
amazing.
came to
Yeah.
one stand-up comedy show.
Yeah, my dad never shows up. My mom tries at least. Yeah. But it's 50-50 with her.
dang, that ghost jerking off thing hits differently now. That guy's like, why are you crying?
It's like, because my
That's
dad, the
hilarious,
ghost of
dude.
my dad is jerking off on me.
Oh my god.
She took it to a different level.
Yeah.
Because of my dad.
Dude, your analogy, dude, that Molly thing, you just kept taking it to another level.
That's why he's a writer.
I know.
Yeah.
It was like,
Yeah, we can do it anytime, baby.
But I like what you said because I think that's essentially what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
It is ultimately, the money is a means to a sense of being, right? Like of that safety or whatever. So I think, ultimately that's what it is.
it's like Koreans love the status. You know, they literally print out like who goes to what college in the newspaper. But if you don't have the money, it doesn't matter. Like you got to have the money first. If you just have status and you don't have the, then they're like,
They laugh at you.
They're like, yeah, what's the point, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I went to Davis. It's like a impossible school to get in now, but at the time, it was just a college, like a regular college. Like there was nothing to boast about. So when you don't have that, then I don't know. I think that's what I'm talking about. Like all the failures in our family. Like, yeah.
My mom, weirdly enough, wanted me, like, pushed me really hard to become a psychologist when I was like, it started when I was like 8 years old. She and my aunt, they teamed up and they were like, the way that your brain works, you should just be a psychologist. And like, I believed in that so hard. My first major in college was psychology until I went to like psychology 101 classes and I was like, I hate learning history. So I was like, fuck psychology. And I switched over to the easiest thing you can do, communications.
Why did your mom though? She thought you'd be good at it.
I think it was her way of pushing me to become a doctor.
Oh, okay.
I think it was like a sly way of pushing me to become a doctor. And it's funny because like my mom was very artistic growing up. Like so artistic to the point that like I would do second grade projects and I would wake up the next day, like the day to go turn it in, and my mom would like repaint my whole project.
What?
And I would be like I remember like literally when I was in third grade, I did a project of South Korea. I like drew South Korea on a map on like a poster board. I woke up and it was so professional. I was like, Mom, no one's gonna believe that I did this. Like, what is happening? You know what I mean? But she like wanted me to be the best so badly that I don't think that even went there. So it's like,
That's adorable, kind of.
Yeah.
it is now, but at the time, I think the teachers were even like, did you do this? And I was like, yes.
Yes. That's hilarious.
But it's funny because like my mom, she was very artistic and she had to like drop out of college because like my grandma, like they went bankrupt while she was in college and she had to take care of. So like, I think there was like something there where my mom was trying to project onto me a little bit. She did that a lot actually. But yeah, she wanted me to become a psychologist and my mom basically worked like under the table jobs here, you know? When she got here, she like worked at like a wig shop and did stuff like that. So I think for her, it was just like, same thing, security, right? She's like, you need to become a doctor and specifically a psychologist. So I was like, yeah, no. So yeah, we ended up here.
Do you have siblings or not?
No, I'm an only child.
That's another reason why maybe she like really like, you know.
Yeah, that's why like she projected
Dr. Ed.
so hard onto me because it was like it was me and it. That was it, you know? Her one chance.
Because my kids go to Korean flag program. They learn Korean in school. Wow. And the parents are just like, your mom, we have a Isun-shin Chango, the General Isun-shin, he did the turtle ship. It's like this battleship with all these, all these MIT or friggin' Caltech or whatever these parents, these are the most amazing turtle ships. And I was causing, like, I was loud. My wife's like, come on. I was like, oh, whatever, guys. Like all the kids did like in fourth grade. They're like the most amazing turtle ships.
For sure.
You know, it was like he did them all.
Yeah.
If they did it, it would have been like
pissed, dude, because my kids, they were like, look at mine. I was just like,
it's like a styrofoam ball that's like the paint's not even
it was
covering it.
ridiculous.
But it takes a special parent. Like I would never, like, because I have kids, I would never make the thing for my kids.
It's crazy.
I always let my kids do it.
It was
Yeah.
adorable.
Like the thing
It
your
was
mom did
adorable, though.
at night and repainting your thing, I would never do that.
It's
No.
like their love, but it's like, it was too much. It was
It
like
is
amazing.
love, but it also teaches your child like you're not good enough.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I had that for a long time. I was just like, I don't think
yeah.
anything I do is good enough.
yeah.
You know?
That is interesting,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
And I
glad
think
I'm
that
lazy.
still
I didn't
prevails a
look at that.
little bit. I have so much self-doubt, and I think it's that.
Yeah.
Wow.
My mom's fault.
So many nuggets.
let's
so many
bring her in.
nuggets.
You don't know it, but she's here.
I'm the last of five. My oldest brother's a pastor. Other brother is a lawyer, and then my sister married a pastor. Wow. My other sister married a very successful architect. So they call it Korean, kaktugi. Like you're just extra, man. Like you can do whatever you want.
What?
So they just wanted to just do business and do well. They didn't really like the stand-up comedy thing, but they're just happy that I have a stable job. That's it.
Dang, the one kid that has the initials PK, pastor's kid, is the only one who didn't.
Didn't become a pastor. I know. There's 4 pastors in my family, yeah.
That's crazy.
I know.
Including your dad?
My dad and my uncle, and then my older brother, and then my brother-in-law. So we used to like go around and pray. It used to take forever, and I'm like, dude, are you serious?
Oh my God, yeah.
I'm like,
They're all like one-upping each
licking
other.
the
Yeah,
rice.
for sure.
No, they're praying for Africa and China. I'm like,
You've never even been to Africa or
I know
China.
this is like, that sentence prayer? I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you're just taking 15, 20 minutes, dude.
For me, like I said, I never had pressure from my mom for sure, no pressure. My dad, he's kind of an oddball though. He didn't have a dad growing up, so I don't think he actually knew how to be a dad. I think that's part of it too. But he would like send a text or something once in a while going, hey, maybe you should think about going to medical school. Like that's like the extent of it though. So I never felt full pressure, yeah. It was enough though when I was younger where, subconsciously, like I didn't end up going to grad school till 10 years after undergrad. So that means I wasn't serious about art, or I was serious about it, but I wasn't serious about it being a profession till 10 years out of undergrad, you know what I mean? So it took a lot of percolating before, and I think that was part of that subconscious like stuff that entered into my being, you know, that made me think like art wasn't like a viable career choice. But yeah, my mom's gone through all sorts of stuff, but she's been like the owner of like a wig shop, real estate agent early on, I remember. Yeah, done tons of stuff, but then they've always sort of, I guess there was a struggle at the beginning, but they've figured it out. They have a lot of property, they amassed a lot of property now, so it's all good, a lot of assets. But you know how Koreans do it? They own the thing, but they do it so backwards that they're completely involved in it to their detriment, right? So even though she owned the wig shop, she was there every day running the shop, not like managing it and managing like everything else. They're like driving, fixing everything themselves. It's very, I want, like they're never gonna retire. Partly why I moved down was to actually make them retire and quit, but they wouldn't. So it did not work out. My as far as like artistic or creative like sides of my parents, I remember when I was a kid, my mom could draw really well, like the Korean style like manga. I haven't seen her draw as an adult though, so but it was amazing what she could draw. So I know she has the ability. I just thought all Koreans from Korea have this ability. My dad's an amazing artist. I remember I was in college and I came back and he took art classes, and he did these amazing like color pencil drawings. Like amazing. They're like, for me, I like treasure these things. So I don't know, he had like an odd like period of his life where he like ventured back into art. So I know they have these natural abilities, but definitely doesn't show in like daily life, or I haven't seen anything recently at all.
It's wild because I think my mom specifically kept that she was artistic from all of us. Like she didn't tell any of us. And so there was a part of us like, why are all three of us like the kids like so artistic and so musical, and like we dance and sing and do all these things. And my mom they would almost try to like beat it out of us kind of thing. But then like when we got older, my mom was like, oh yeah, your grandfather used to like sing to the pigs like on karaoke every day in the morning. And then I was just like, wait, and then my mom was like, oh yeah, my mom was like, oh yeah, I was like also a professional singer too. I was just like, what? And then she's just like, oh yeah, I also was like a professional artist, but like, she's like, one of the most famous artists in Korea like came to our hometown and said that I should do art, but my parents wouldn't let me. So like, that's why you're not allowed to do like art. And it's just like, I found this out last year. I'm 38 years old, and at 37 years old, my mom was like, oh yeah, I was the most famous artist like as a child in the hometown of Paju. And like, It took you 37 years to like admit that like you literally like you threw my brother down the stairs because he like wanted to be an artist.
Oh, literally
like,
beat it out.
Yeah, like I'm just like, it's just so wild what parents like they it's like trying to change the course of a river. Like you are part of that river. Like you started the flow, and then you expect us to not continue the flow of like your existence. Like it's very like, how dare you? And so I think it's an interesting thing because my dad was very like athletic and very like math and science. Like he doesn't have like a very artistic bone like in his body kind of thing. But and he was like an engineer, and so it's very, I think the engineering just like helped our kind of artistic side even more kind of thing. And so it's just very strange that my sister is now a tattoo artist. She was a professional dancer, and then my brother was like a music producer and artist. And so
very artistic family.
Yeah,
that's
but
really artistic.
yeah, but then it's weird because since we weren't supported, we're all just kind of like burnouts instead. Like, it's
Well,
like-
was your dad a professor? Is that why you went to?
he was an engineer. He was a computer engineer at NASA. So
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah. So he was very like,
Just wondering why that city in Ohio.
yeah. So there's like a NASA base in
that makes
the
sense.
cornfields in Ohio, kind of thing. Yeah. So it's like flat land for aerospace. Kind
Were
of
there
thing.
any other Asian families around?
They worked at NASA. And so, yeah, so there was like, there was like maybe like one or two. If there was like another Asian kid in class, it was because their parents probably worked at NASA.
That's crazy.
Were you serious? Were you
Yeah,
guys like
yeah,
that
yeah.
Spider-Man meme? Like,
Yeah. It's very like, yeah. So, yeah, there was, I think, like two other.
Wow.
Because there was also like the Cleveland Clinic, but we were just like too far away. We lived too far away for most people to kind of, live in my hometown. But yeah.
I don't really know where this is going, just kind of in it for the ride. Started this channel to try to make a support for my mission, because my mission is to try to like eradicate as much racism for the Asian American community as possible. So on my channel, I do a lot of like, talking at you thing, whereas with this channel, and it's ironic because I'm in this video, but I really want to tell other people's stories to help normalize the Asian American experience for people outside the community, but I also want to do it for our community, like for the me that was in Philadelphia, who was being told by my white friends that I was the whitest kid that they know every time I would say something about racism. And I would always be like, that sounds really racist to me. And then they would be like, no, it's because you're very overly, sensitive or whatever. And when I moved back to LA and I told that to a group of people, majority of it who were Asian at the time, they were like, oh my God, that's so racist. And I was like, oh my God, I fucking knew it. But I was being gaslit for so many years. So I want to do it for those people too, the people who don't have a community and feel alone. Let them know that they're not,
I respect you, man. I respect your work, all your posts. Just know there's so many people like me, like we have day jobs and literally like right on, but then we got to go back to the bullshit. there's a lot of people. I started this talent show year 2000 called Collaboration. It was like just like this, trying to get as many Asian singers, rappers, dance crews on stage, and it really helped a lot. And my favorite emails were like the Midwest. A lot of like Midwest kids and students would come and they'd be like, dude, this really impacted my life in a big way. We don't have anything like this. So I put all those in a folder called Never Give Up. Anytime I feel down, I just look through this folder. I have like tons of emails in there, and I advise everybody to do that. Just create whatever you want to label it. But anytime you get like an encouraging email, just put it in there. It reminds me, when you said your dad said, maybe you should go to med school. It reminds me of when Steven Yeun said the first time he had a makeout scene, he was on Conan, and his dad just texted him, "You a man now." Those dad texts is what. But I get like, once in a while from my family, like, we're proud of you, which is like really like those are like those kinds of messages. I put them in there. A lot of my kids, the world, looking back, the world has gotten a little better, but not that much. But definitely for Asians, a little better from when we were growing up. So things that we were doing, I just want to, until I die, like just keep putting as many Asian artists on stage or however I can. It's just that right now as a parent, I'm so bogged down by life and bills. I'm just trying to figure out the money part. Without the money, you can't really like have the freedom to do everything. So just trying to make the money in a good way.
Yeah.
But then I party too, so I'm a hypocrite. While I'm making the money,
No, that's necessary.
Yeah, I got chill on the drinking.
That's research.
Yeah.
It's research,
You can
that's
write that on.
material.
Yeah.
You need life experiences
Exactly.
for comedy.
Yeah, you do.
True. Cafe Blue.
Yeah.
I love Cafe Blue, by the way. K-Town.
I'm a TV film writer now, but I think I realized over the last like 10 years that ultimately when you're writing in TV and film, that like in any meeting you're at, they're always going to be like, well, how are people in the middle of America gonna consume this? And so like anything you're actually making is inevitably not for your community. It's inevitably for, like the 65% white majority in
Who
America.
watch the most content.
Exactly, who watch the content. And so it doesn't matter that all the data says that like when you make an Asian thing, when you make a Black thing, when you make a Latin thing, that those do well. Like Sinners, you know, Ryan Coogler's movie, it's just like it's breaking all these records. It has the smallest, you know, come down from first, second week ever in history. Like it does, none of those things matter. Like you can't bring rationale to an irrational system, because the system is meant for us to not have stories. It's meant for us to only be told through the lens of like whiteness, you know, kind of thing. And so the last, honestly, like only 31, 32 days, I've just been like being like, you know what, I want to be able to just like speak directly to people that I want to speak to. Like, cause it's just like, I have, you know, it's like my reps were like, you should write another script. I'm just like, I have 5 features and like 6 pilots. Like, how much more do you want me to write? Like I have a queer Asian pilot, I have a straight Asian pilot, I have all these things that like, I want these things to be made, but they're never going to get made, you know, because like the numbers just don't add up kind of thing, you know, and they're just gonna cancel anything that does speak to us because they don't want us to have like a voice or to have power. And so I have just been like, you know what, I do wanna explore all these other avenues of speaking. And one, like literally like a month ago, I just off the cuff, like I just saw like AI was, you know, like they just fed all of like Miyazaki's, you know, work to AI. And then people were just always like posting these like super shitty like Miyazaki, like AI, you know, things on their IG. And I just like spoke out about that on TikTok. And I had never really posted on TikTok like up until then, like just fun, casually kind of thing. But then that one like blew up and I was like, oh, like I guess people do resonate with me, but I've been in this industry where I'm not allowed to like say or speak or be or just like express how I feel or express how Asian people actually are feeling in America. And to kind of have that like direct pipeline has just been really, honestly, like really exciting, and I feel like energized by it. I mean, I definitely see how people can get really burned out by it, you know, and it's an addictive quality to. I don't blame people that get addicted to TikTok because we are addicted to wanting to be seen and just to be heard and validated. And when you aren't heard and validated ever in life, then like you seek out those spaces, those spaces, which is like YouTube and, you know, TikTok, I feel. So yeah, that's
it's racism, and it's we need investors, you know, money. Like when Joe Coy said he nobody would give him a chance, he had to put his own money in.
Yeah.
You know, like Ed has to put we have to produce our own. So I'm hoping there are some, especially old Asian people that have money. You can't take your money with you when you die. I hope that you will invest in the artists.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way, you know?
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like they've been taught to not value the arts.
Yeah, exactly,
so,
yeah.
Like, that's why you have everyone, tech is this idea of innovation and imagination, when in fact, like, they're all just investing in tech and like all this, like they have no imagination. They were never taught like, you know, humanities or the arts. And so all of that money is getting funneled to horrible shit that nobody wants and nobody asked for.
Yeah, hopefully the Hallyu wave with like the Korean pop, the K-dramas going, hopefully people are starting to see the value in culture. Like those things are culture, you know what I mean? If we're going to make an impact on culture, it is through the arts, you know? So hopefully they're seeing that.
Yeah, I think it's I don't know. I think it's hard though. It's slow going.
It is.
I think there's like the macro, or like like what you're talking about, like high end, like K-pop and stuff, and then there's micro where kind of all of us fit in, and I think that's where it hurts the most when it's not being invested into. So yeah, I think it's been for me, it's been a long, arduous journey, you know. It's very slow. You know, I definitely fought and earned every bit of where I've become, or how like whatever level of success I've achieved. So I just want to make it easier for everyone who's coming behind me, or everyone who's coming alongside me, essentially. I think we all have that in common. And I also have a family, so I understand the stability part, the income making part, so that's definitely essential. I do a lot of mural making right now, but I want to do less of that and do more of my studio practice. So the stuff that's more personal to me, that's coming out of my studio, that you kind of move through galleries and museums. That's the hardest path for an artist, or for a visual artist. But as I raise my profile and as the value for things like that grow and people actually start buying art like that, then I like to shift my career to more of my studio practice and less mural. I want to still do mural work. I value the community aspect of mural work. I value just engaging with the community. I value reflecting back to community. I value uplifting unheard voices in the community. I mean, I don't only make murals for Asian Americans and Koreans, but also other groups of people that are unseen, essentially, right? So, but yeah, I just want to paint in my studio, do martial arts, and go to the gym and play with my kids, essentially, right?
Good
So,
life.
yeah, right, essentially, right?
Yeah.
Do comedy, be with your kids, work out, be healthy, right? So, yeah, that's essentially where I want to go.
I think the TV film industry is at like kind of an inflection point right now where it's contracting so much that I don't know if anyone can make a career. You know, literally Tina Fey and Amy Poehler are doing YouTube. You know, like if they can't sell a show and you know they're who they are, and you know, I don't know, maybe it's like karma, but anyways. But I've like literally just applied to like this like marketing writing job like 2 weeks ago. I'm just kind of like, I don't know if anybody can make a living doing just art. And I think that there's no shame in being like, I guess I have to kind of figure something out, you know, in this way. And what's interesting is I think because there's scarcity in the industry, I think there is like almost like tall poppy syndrome within the Asian community where, you know, I did CAPE, which is like the Asian the AAPI writing program in 2017, and I was in this program, and it's supposed to be like the program where like Asians can like feel supported, but there was someone in that program, a Korean person, who like hated me for some reason, and he was just like, oh well, you didn't put in your time enough time to like be in this program.
Older?
He's like 2 years older than me, but he was just like, no, like I've applied to this program 6 times and you got it on your first time. So like you actually like shouldn't be, like you're below me kind of thing. And so I think that's what happens is like, you know, there are Asians that in the industry even that have a lot of clout and power, but they you know, especially Gen X and Boomer generation, like they've closed the door. Like famously, there was like the Asian American Writers Caucus, and the biggest Asian American writer, one of the biggest ones, who like you know did X-Files, like he was like, well, I would hire Asians if Asians were talented. At the Asian American Writers Caucus, he said that, and that's the reality. Is that like the Gen X and Boomers were taught to like close the door. You know, it's like, oh, there's only one of us, and then that's a generalization. You know, of course, like there's you know there's people that are supportive, but when that is the culture that's also being handed down, and then it's like there only can be one kind of situation. You know, then I think that's the work that's having to be done. But at the same time, if no one can survive while that work is going to be done, then you're just only going to have. You know, you have a lot of like the Asian American Nepo babies that are starting to come into the industry now. It's like, and so it's interesting to see like there's a generation of people that are talented and ready, but like those people that were the exceptional ones that got to get in, they're just they're only letting their children in, you know, kind of thing. And so it's interesting seeing that in the industry. And so I don't know, I'm kind of, how do I liberate myself from the industry, but also like I do care about this industry, so I want it to change. And so that is always like something that I'm kind of grappling with constantly.
That's crazy. I would have told that guy, I've been like, I made it on my first try, so I'm pretty sure you're below me.
I know.
What a
It
freaking
seems like
hater,
there's,
man.
there's hate and jealousy
What
there
a
or something.
small-minded biatch.
Yeah. But you know, I don't know. It's
And
also
that
hard.
that whole like, oh, I would only hire, like that's such a like self-hate competitive Asian. There can only be one. That's so.
It's not the Highlander.
Yeah. It's wild. Yeah.
There can only
I know
be
that
one.
reference is aging me, but still.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, a lot of rejection in this journey. So, you know, you got to put yourself out there a ton, and most of those are rejections. So, I don't know. So, you know, there's always doubt along the way. I think with family and responsibilities, there's a little bit more pressure that way, just naturally. I think I've pretty stable right now in my art career. There's a good balance, but my kids are getting older. I live in a like a 900 square foot mobile home, so I could use a little bit more, maybe find a bigger space as my kids get bigger. I have 3 of them, so thinking about different hustles that are maybe not so creative, that could be a little bit more lucrative. It's a little bit different than completely quitting my creative side of aspect of my life, but just tacking on something that's not creative. I think some of your stuff that you said, Nathan, resonated, because even within the Asian community, we just talked about how like they don't value the art, but there's also lots of Korean Americans specifically who are very high up in like institutions, national institutions, museums, galleries, who run like lots of successful galleries, but their programming is not about Korean Americans or Asian Americans at all, right? So it's not their fault, and also they might, they obviously have institutional like programming that they have to follow, but then it doesn't feel supportive for like guys like me, right, who are trying to come up and who are Asian American and or Korean American, and you have like, oh, but you're like a major Korean American curator at a major museum. It's not like they can naturally just go, come on in, let's like bring you into the programming, right? So it's just navigating that, trying to figure that out. But stuff like that makes it hard too, because you feel like those are the allies that you can hope to count on. But and again, it's not their fault. It's not necessarily their doing, but it's just the situation, the system that we're in. So I don't know. That stuff casts doubt too. That stuff's hard to navigate through, and that's not necessarily points where I wanted to quit, but challenges I have to get through and think about.
Was there ever a point where you feel like being an Asian artist maybe was the reason why you got rejected from something?
Not directly, but more not rejected because I was an Asian American artist, but less seen because I was Asian American. You know what I mean? Like not afforded like full opportunity. I felt like that. I mean, part of this is, or I don't know if this is related or not, but I think part of it's internal, because before I went to grad school, I was doing work about like Korean culture and just my experience being Korean American growing up in America. But I felt a lot of shame. I was very uncertain about putting that out in the world. I didn't know how, it felt very juvenile. I didn't feel like it'd be accepted in like the larger majority white art world. Who would understand this? Who would even buy this? It wasn't until I went to grad school and met my professor, Hung Lu, who's like a Chinese American, like very successful, immigrated from China, like fully established herself, like renowned. I was like, oh, she passed away a couple of years ago. She's older, a lot older. But it was not till I met her and saw her and she became my mentor that I was like, oh, I like all of that lifted. I was like, oh, I could have pride in my work. I could have, I don't have to be ashamed. I don't have to have shame about expressing who I am and expressing my experience, right? So I think I bring that up because I think part of it's internal too. So there's that sort of part of the quitting that comes into play as well.
Yeah, I think that's a through line even here, where it's because we're all Korean, but like when I go out just even to like a warehouse party or whatever, like there's such a difference in like the Koreans, the Filipinos, the Viet boys, the Thai boys, the Chinese boys, Taiwanese boys, because like Chinese, Taiwanese boys, they're all just like, come here, like, whatever you need, we got you. They don't. It's like you don't even know me, but like you're so well. But like the Koreans, like it's like if you're not pure blood Korean, like don't look at us. Like it's such an interesting cultural difference, kind of thing. And then you have to kind of like it's a self-fulfilling thing because they're just like because like they're cloistered because of their trauma, but then you're trying to like come in and then like, but it's interesting because the Filipinos are just like one drop rule, baby, like. Haley Steinfeld, 1/8 Filipino. You're our Filipino queen, and so it's such an interesting cultural thing too. Because I think that there is if we were to do this panel with a group of other Asians, kind of thing, then I think that they might have a different point of view about pursuing the arts or like how they feel about themselves, kind of thing as well.
Mm-hmm.
Koreans are so closed-minded. Like and there's so many college organization campuses. There's like Asian American organization, and then the Korean.
Yeah.
It's like And a lot of nonprofits like that too. You know.
I know. They're so bad that I was
culture.
in an Asian fraternity, but the Koreans broke off and started their own Korean
Shut
fraternity.
up.
Oh, yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
Why are we
at
like
Davis.
that?
Yeah.
Why are we
It
like
pissed
this?
me off
Yeah.
so bad.
You know, a lot of times I grew up in LA, the only Asian kid, a lot of white kids, but not like the way the Midwest. It was very subtle. It was
Yeah,
like, you
yeah,
know, it was
right.
very that. It was
Right,
very,
right.
you're a little beneath that. You're not attracted. But it wasn't like we're gonna like physically. It was just always you always made you feel a little inferior. That just was just like always there, you know. So
Yeah.
that was a big part of me. But
stand-up?
Midwest Asians, it's on another level. A lot of the Midwest Asians that moved out and joined our collaboration stuff, they were the ones that were like so passionate about like this isn't just a show. This is everything, you know. This is life. And so that was a big thing.
Did you get a lot of like rejection because you were Asian in comedy, you think?
In the beginning, yeah, but then now there's so many Asian comedians. But again, I go back to Joe Coy too, because he rarely ever talks about, and he never talks about anything political, racism, or like that. But one time he said on that podcast on Howie Mandel, he said like, yeah, for sure, the reason why Netflix and all these places kept rejecting his special was systemic racism. And I've never heard him say that. And I text him like, hey, bro, I'm glad you put that out there, man. Like, he was dating Chelsea Handler at the time, so maybe she was, you know, in his ear. But I remember when he said it, I'm like, if he said it, I mean, he's like half white, half Filipino, and he's one of the funny. He sells at arena. He couldn't get something in. It's like, how hard is it for, you know, just, you know, me, mid-level comedian. But for my kids, I all I'm trying to do right now is trying to find, what do you love doing? I don't care about your grades. I just want to find out, what do you love doing? And I'm going to support you to be I don't care if it's yo-yo, you know what I'm saying, piano or whatever. Like, I don't care if you skate. Like, I'm going to support you all the way. Like, and that's, I really wish that I went balls out into stand-up comedy instead of like, oh no, I want to do both and I want to have, you know, because I really do believe like you have to, you know, there's so few artists that have a married, you know, life with kids and also are very successful, like Jim Gaffigan, and you can count them on your hand, you know?
Yeah.
And so pull out. If you have a big dream, pull out. And don't have kids.
Don't have
I love my
kids.
kids though.
Don't get married.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be selfish.
Yeah, exactly.
And
For
then
me,
you'll rise
I
up.
feel like it was like mostly me. I feel like there were other people who were opposition. I actually did stand-up comedy for
Oh,
a
right
year.
on.
Yeah.
Come do it again
I actually
sometime, bro.
quit because
Hey, I would love for you to host our show next Friday. Like literally just, no, you don't have to like, just bring everybody up. Dumbfounded, me and Dumbfounded. Please, think
possibly.
about it.
I'll think about it.
It's small
so
show.
I did it for a year, and I only quit because someone recognized me at a Target. And they were like, "Hey, why do I know you?" I was like, "Bro, I've never seen you before." And then he's like, "You do stand-up comedy?" And I was like, "Oh, not anymore.
Yeah.
This is gonna happen." So I hated that. But
Why did you hate that though?
I think it kind of goes in line with what I'm about to say. Is just like I
okay,
think
okay.
all the self-doubt that I have that might have come from my mom, and I'm sure other sources too, you know, all the time. And I think some of that did have to do with race because I went to very white schools and things like that. But like for instance, like I really thought that there was no profession in creativity. Like for instance, like I find this really funny because like a lot of Asian parents specifically force their children to play music. But then they're like, but you can't pursue this.
Exactly.
But you have to play it so that we look good.
Exactly.
You know? So like I
Unless
played
you're the best of the best.
right. So like I played cello since I was like 5, 6 years old. So like by the time I was 16, I was like, I've been playing this for 11 years. I feel like I'm pretty good, you know? But in my head, I was also like, but what am I gonna do with this? What am I gonna either play in an orchestra or be a music teacher? And I was like, no, to either of that, you know? So I did this thing behind my mom's back. She still doesn't know, which is kind of crazy because I've talked about this publicly so much by this point. But I like applied for an audition for Juilliard. I got in. But I turned it down because I was like, what am I gonna do with this? For me, it was just enough to know that like the 10 years that I played this, like I am good, you know? Wow. And I think that kind of prevailed for a while. You know, and I like try to start business, and like it's funny because I say this, but like I started a business to find out that like I love taking photos and making videos. You know, so yeah, somewhere along the way, I think my biggest hater was me, but I think a lot of that came from outside forces, not just my mom. You know, a lot of the kids who like, in school, for instance, who like would tell me my ideas were dumb, but then 5 minutes later, literally then sell my idea to the group. And I was like, I said that 5 minutes ago. And they were like, no, you didn't, Ed. So like all that kind of stuff definitely affected me, but I feel like a lot of it is me, you know? But that's also not to say that I don't have a lot of haters out there. Like there are, pretty sure I have thousands of people who follow me just to hate me.
I'm sure you get crazy DMs, comments, huh?
Oh, all the time, you know? People threatening to like harm me and do not a lot of those.
Yeah.
Dude, post all
But
them.
some, you know?
Post
and then
it,
like
post that.
a lot of people in the comments were like, this is dumb, this isn't racist, you're a waste of space, or like, you know, stuff like that. So for sure, a lot. But yeah, I've learned to live in here, you know? I'm my biggest, you know, person who hypes myself up, but I'm also the biggest person who's like, you're an idiot, you know? So
Hey, host our show next Friday.
it's about a battle.
I'll think
about it.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? That'd be fun.
I'll think about it.
It's more of like an at peace thing where I realized I was just chasing this. I need to book this. I need to book this next thing. I need to book this next thing. But then I had to realize like, oh, like it doesn't matter. Like I have done more than like a lot of people have done in like a lot, like their whole career kind of thing, you know? But I'm still not satisfied with myself. And so at what point am I going to be satisfied? I think it was honestly like when I had a movie come out like last year and it went #2 on Amazon Prime. And
Damn, bro.
yeah, and I
Damn.
was like, but then I was still so upset about so many things about the project. Like and I had to just step back and be like, it doesn't matter that you are like not super happy with the end result. Like you put in the time and work for the last 2 years and then this came out and people are enjoying it and it's showing that. So you just have to like let go of like being your own worst critic, I think, kind of thing. And I think that you're right. Like at first, like I stopped doing stand up because one person was just like, oh, yes. But like I was just like, oh, like, it's like, yeah, we all do stand up. But I was like, oh, this is not for me. But I think like finding like where I feel most comfortable presenting myself in my truest self has been like the biggest kind of like I think payoff. I think, yeah.
Do you know, it's like I respect you so much, but it's like all encouraging and discouraging that you've been part of like a #1 movie and a #2 movie, and you're like, I gotta apply to jobs right now. It's like, what the hell, dude?
It's very brutal
That's crazy,
right now.
man.
Yeah. The industry is really crazy. Yeah. I have a friend who has an overall deal right now, like $5 million deal, but they don't get paid if they're not working. So since there's nothing getting made, they have a side job. Like it's crazy.
I have this multi-million-dollar deal, but
Yeah.
like,
Like
Uber?
zero disbursement.
Yeah.
Zero disbursement.
yeah,
Yeah,
Jeez.
my friend just got denied from DoorDash because there's too many DoorDash.
There's too
drivers.
many.
there is too many.
Holy cow!
My
What?
friend said
There's like a wait list.
Yeah.
That's
Instacart,
insane.
everything.
And like hundreds of thousands of
Yeah.
people long wait list,
Yeah.
not just like a 10-person wait list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
That's how
goodness.
crazy things are right now.
And the shelves are gonna be empty soon. Fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so
Time to
telling.
tell some jokes.
I'm gonna need
good
to
time
do
to
more
tell
than
some
telling jokes,
jokes.
baby.
On the street, I mean.
yeah, on the corner.
I feel it now. I don't know if there was an actual like milestone necessarily. I had a career in the Bay and then had to kind of uproot and come back here. And then that first year in LA was like, I think the worst year of my life. I moved in with my parents, had my first kid. It was just like 1.5. Trying to figure, it's like starting over essentially. But at some point after that, being in LA in the last 7 years, definitely feel proud and accomplished and like I'm in a good place. I don't know if it's better or bigger. I guess it's better, bigger opportunities and collaborations and projects since moving to LA. And I think that's sort of what I've envisioned. So I'm very grateful. And I think sometimes though, I have to look back to remind myself or else I'll forget easily, right? So I have to do that. I'll go walk up to a mural I did and like not remember the process at all, but I'm so removed for it now that I'm like, how did I do that? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, sometimes I have to do that. I just keep images, like you said, like those emails, you know what I mean?
Encourages
Yeah.
you, right?
It's
Inspires
like,
you.
yeah, it reminds you that you're capable. How about you?
I've been stuck in this like, yeah, I gotta get my comedy going again for, I have 3 kids, and it's just I just feel like I'm a hamster on a wheel, and I've seen so many people I know blow up. Like I finally got my name on the Laugh Factory thing, and right next to it was a big billboard of Ali Wong, and I just remember like, man, we started at the same time, man. She's like laying down. She's like her 3rd Netflix special, but everybody is in their own pace. But I really do feel like I'm in this first lanes, and I just see like Jimmy and Ronnie and Joe and like everybody just, and you just gotta like stay positive.
That's crazy that there's so many Asian comedians now, but even just rattling off those first names, I was like, you knew exactly who you were talking about. You know what I mean? Like, just off first names alone.
No, and like I either started with them or they started later than me. Well, Joe started with, but I'm saying like, and when I first started, we all knew each other. There were like 30 of us. I did this show recently. They're like, hey, PK, can you host a show for us? I didn't know a single Asian I was like, who are? There's just like 500 Asian comics now, which is amazing, but it's also like, I told them, are you guys ready for this roller coaster of pain? You know, it's going to be more pain than joy. You guys got to be ready for this. I was telling them. And so, just got to stay persistent.
Yeah, I really like that idea of that folder to remind yourself of
It's important.
I think it really is, because for me,
anti-suicidal.
It is, because like for me, it's like a roller coaster. You know what I mean? I think the first time I felt proud in this whole TikTok or social media journey was when this woman that I made a video about, she was like sexually assaulted on the New York City train back in like 2020, 2021. And her lawyer reached out to me and was like, hey, your videos have been helping us push this in trial. And then it ended up getting them to trial because he was able to be like, hey, look, so many people know about this, you know? He was able to use that to get to trial, and then she ended up getting justice. And I was like, wow, I can't believe I had real hand in like doing something like that. But it was fleeting. Because with every case, I just feel this like, oh my God, I have to do something to help. And like recently, I took like a 2-month hiatus from making content because there was this girl, it's like 13-year-old girl who was like having liver problems, and I was trying to help her kidney issues. She had a transplant. I was trying to get her I was like trying to raise money for her so she could have a real 13th birthday party because she had it at the hospital. And then like, we raised money and she had enough, and then like she had to go back to the hospital because she had kidney issues again. And I know it's not my fault, but like it just really hit me really hard. And I was like, oh my God, I wish there was more I could do. I failed this girl. And it like hit me so hard that I like didn't have the motivation to do anything. Of course, if someone was like, hey, I need help, I made onesie twosie videos there, but like I kind of quit. So I really like that idea because like I kind of struggled too. And maybe
I'm sure you get so many good positive messages.
I do, but it's like whenever you think of anything, like the bad stuff is like forefront of the mind.
Totally.
And like I definitely fall to that. So I really like that idea. I think I'm gonna do that.
It saves me. I go through it like once every 6 months, and I just keep building.
Yeah, I really like that idea.
You can just find me at Nathan Ramos Park on all social media platforms.
I just have Instagram. It's Dave Young Kim.
Your art on there. I'm gonna repost it when I go in. I'm at PK Comedy. Lately, sorry, I've just been posting all anti-Trump shit like every day. I gotta chill, but I can't even. Now people are just sending me stuff. Like now it's like
I know.
I can't stop. It's like, but I'm trying to focus on the comedy again more. But not right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm at just at Etch a Sketch and everything with a J, but yeah, I guess just support everyone, like our stuff, share it, watch Nathan's movies on Amazon, you know?
The collective is KAA Collective. Sorry, gotta do that one too.
Of course. Cool. Well, other than that, thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Seriously, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, and your sharing everything. It really
Good to
means
finally
a
be
lot.
on one of your videos. Thanks for hosting our stand-up.
Yes.
Yeah.